What's good, YouTube? This is going to be my non-spoiler review for The Boogeyman, based on the short story by Stephen King. As far as whether this is scary or not, I wouldn't be the best judge of that, as it's gotten harder to be scared over the years, and just seeing more and more movies in general, as well as this being PG-13, it's going to have its limits to it. So with that in mind, I will try to judge it based on the reaction of the 10 or so year old son whose mom brought him to see it. And I gotta say, this definitely had moments in it that had him hiding in her arm at times, and the classic putting his hands over his face whenever a scary moment was going to come up or the boogeyman was about to pop up on screen. So based on that, to me, if movies can still do that to kids like how they would when I was young, it's a success in that way, because it's just much harder to scare desensitized adults, especially today, and with a PG-13 rating at that. Although they had me very curious with how this was going to go, seeing how they open it up. A very dark start to the movie, but that's about the extent that it goes. Then it's pretty tame after that. If anything, this movie doesn't just deal with trying to scare you, but also themes of just loss and trying to move on, things like that. It's a pretty somber story as you go through it. Even more sad when you realize how they're going about it and what the father does for a living. It's just the parallels and all that. There is a scene that ended up being in the trailers that I wish so much they hadn't put in them, though, because it could have been so effective not seeing it coming. It was one of those moments that I think personally I would have actually jumped at. As for the cast, I assumed based on the trailers it would have been more about the younger sister Sawyer, but I feel like we spend much more time and it's really more about the older sister Sadie. Sawyer, which I think most would recognize from the Obi-Wan series, she's just got such a personality to her that she has some great moments in here, and her delivery on certain things are just great. Sadie is the one that we get most of the emotion through, though, and trying to understand everything as it's going on. I'd say the only out of character moments that came up were just based on how movies like this go and how they have to move them along in a sense. But everything with how she was trying to deal with what she was going through, I thought she did a great job showing. The dad, who I have to give credit to the actor for showing a range of cocky, loud, yelling maniac of an agent in the movie Air, just like a couple months ago, to this soft-spoken, heartbroken, quiet, sad dad, was something to see, honestly. As I sort of mentioned before, with his job, what the family is going through, it's just a tough thing to watch how they handle it, and makes you just feel for the family that much more. Lester, who many have seen in a lot of other things, great actor and perfect for this kind of role he plays. My only issue was with his character, and another one that comes up later on in the movie. I would have preferred the roles reversed. Just would have made the last half of the movie better to me. Now, the Boogeyman itself, the design was pretty cool, especially during certain scenes that are close up and showing you how it functions in a sense. They did a great job with how they shot it and balancing it with not, showing enough but not too much at times. I will admit they didn't give much explanation or backstory when it comes to it specifically. Also, if or how they can beat it does become predictable by a certain point, so there wasn't anything surprising that happens during that whole thing. The end was satisfying to me, nothing shocking at all or anything that made it stand out, but also nothing that ruined it for me. Just a generic ending when it comes to these movies, honestly. Can't personally say I'm craving a sequel, but also I won't say I'd skip watching it if one was to come out. When it comes to rating this movie on my scale, I will admit I don't think I particularly enjoyed this movie as I have the ones on my 1 tier. It had some good moments, but I just feel like it didn't have anything that stood out to me that made it a 1. So I'm gonna have to place it as a 2, but I definitely would recommend people going to watch this and everything, especially if they have kids, because I think it's scary enough to get the reaction that you would want out of them. Have you seen The Boogeyman, though? If so, let me know down below what you thought of it, and give me your thoughts on how you view movies like this at the age you are now. Do you watch them trying to actually be scared, or is there something else you look for when watching a movie like this? Comment below, and also, if you enjoyed my review, please hit the thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. If you want to see more of my videos, just subscribe, and I'll catch you in those. Until then, take it easy.